My name is Caroline Wong. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Cobalt. I started my cybersecurity career more than 15 years ago, leading information security teams at eBay and Zynga. These were super cool places to be working in cybersecurity. In both cases, we were running online operations 24/7 with millions of simultaneous users daily. eBay had an uptime requirement of 99.94% and is one of the first major electronic commerce shops, enabled strangers to transact with each other over the internet. Zynga was growing incredibly rapidly as an early adopter of Amazon AWS. In 2009, the Zynga game Farmville launched, and in just a few weeks, the game went from 0 to 10 million daily active users. Was anyone in this room one of those 10 million daily active users? If you weren't one of the first 10 million, what happened is a few months later, it went to 80 million daily active users. Thank goodness for the elasticity of the cloud. And at Cobalt, we build security software and we do pen testing as a service. We talked about the awards. Fill out your bingo card, get a VR headset, join me for a virtual reality meditation session sometime, or get some free pen test credits. I want to do a brief history lesson of cybersecurity because I think that for the past couple of decades, we as an industry have been a little bit stagnant. And I think we have an opportunity to really change things. After I talk a bit about security and some observations over the past 20 years, I will talk about software development and provide my reflections on the leaps and bounds that our colleagues in software development have been able to make. And I'll propose that we cybersecurity folks have an opportunity to learn from our friends over in software development land. So more than 20 years ago, actually in 1998, a collective of young hackers went to Washington with a warning for Congress. They said software and computer networks are woefully insecure. And during that now infamous hearing in 1998, one of the hackers told senators that any of the 7 individuals seated before you could take down the internet in just a half hour. In 2018, 20 years later, those same hackers went back and they offered a similarly bleak assessment. Digital security is hardly any better. At Loft, we tried to be the voice of reason in raising awareness for problems, said Joe Grant, who went by the hacker name Kingpin in his Loft days. Nearly all of what we said 20 years ago still holds true. Yes, there have been some improvements, but the general class of problems are the same. Back then, said Chris Weisopel, the threat was a teenage hacker, and now it's nation state, so everything got a lot more risky. I want to talk about some of the big supply chain attacks that happened recently-ish. The State of DevOps 2021 says, look, security can't be an afterthought. It can't be the final step before delivery. It must be integrated throughout the software development lifecycle. To securely deliver software, software practices have to evolve faster than the techniques used by malicious actors. During the 2020 SolarWinds and CodeCov software supply chain attacks, hackers covertly embedded themselves into the infrastructure of thousands of customers of those companies. Given the widespread impact of these attacks, the industry must shift from a preventive to a diagnostic approach, where software teams should assume that their systems are already compromised and build security into their supply chain. I want to tell you about the first time that I realized that most organizations do not do enough pen testing. Between 2013 and 2016, I led more than 36 BSIM assessments. BSIM stands for Building Security and Maturity Model. Do I have any BSIM fans in the room? If folks are not familiar with BSIM, highly recommend it, 10 out of 10, bsimm.com. It stands for Building Security and Maturity Model, and it is a descriptive framework for real-life software security. There are 128 firms in the latest BSIM data pool. The data pool can be thought of as somewhat representative of all the companies in the world that operate using software, but with one pretty big caveat. It costs 5 figures to do a BSIM. And if you can spend that much money paying a management consultant to interview your software development teams and give you a scorecard on how well you're doing software security, you're probably relatively mature when it comes to software security. So let's just go ahead and assume that the BSIM data pool is above average compared to the rest of the world. I learned something really startling when I was doing this work, flying around the world, talking to teams about their software development practices. I found out that a typical enterprise with 1,000 software applications was only pen testing about 100 of those applications. Just 10% of enterprise application portfolios were getting manual pen testing. That was terrifying. There are a lot of reasons for this. Historically, pen testing has been expensive and slow. It's been hard to get access to quality talent, whether you're building an in-house team or working with a third-party provider. We do have some good news. Last year in the Cobalt 2021 State of Pen Test report, we found out organizations are doing more pen testing. We talked to more than 600 international security folks and found out that today, on average, folks are pen testing 63% of their application portfolios. This is way better. I'm here to share some thoughts on why and how, and also to promote the idea that we can actually increase that number way further. I firmly believe that it is the right thing to do. So if us in cybersecurity land are stagnant, if hackers went to talk to the Senate in 1998, they went back in 2018 and they said not much has changed. The other thing that we've gotten in application security is last year in 2021, we got a note OWASP Top 10. Does anyone know when the first OWASP Top 10 was released? Any guesses? I'm really good at holding long, awkward silences.
2004.
Very close.
2007.
Farther.
2005.
Farther.
2001.
2003. Yes, Mr. Wallace has got it. The first OWASP Top 10 was released in 2003. The OWASP Top 10 teaches us how to find and fix and prevent security issues. And do you know what I find if I put the OWASP Top 10, the very first version from 2003, right next to the one from 2021? They look the same. They are the same. 2003 was a really long time ago. In 2003, Matthew McConaughey starred in a movie called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Love Fern, anyone? In 2021, he played a singing koala in Sing 2. 17 years have gone by, and in 17 years, we as an industry, we know how to find security vulnerabilities, we know how to fix them, and we know how to prevent them, and yet, the top 10 remain. So I want to look sideways at our friends in software development, because my observation is that while the state of cybersecurity has remained somewhat stagnant for the past 20 years, the software development industry has made tremendous strides. In 2011, Puppet released the first State of DevOps report. By 2013, the State of DevOps report had established a relationship between a true DevOps practice and high-performance outcomes. So organizations that do DevOps do more frequent deployments, have shorter lead time to change, they have lower change failure rates, and faster mean time to recovery. These results can have a direct impact on business outcomes. If you can deploy on demand and have shorter lead time to change, you get comparative advantages because you can deliver solutions faster. Shorter mean time to recovery and lower change failure rates create more stable systems. So if companies doing DevOps have higher performance outcomes, then naturally, we want to learn more about what those companies are doing. SaaS companies don't necessarily have all the answers, but they are inherently flexible and they can iterate according to market feedback and business needs. It's all about speed of innovation, design and usability. The faster you can go, the less you spend on product development, the fewer person hours are required to deliver a complete solution. Every iteration is an opportunity to deliver greater business value. So at Cobalt, we thought to ourselves, if cybersecurity is stagnant, and those folks over in software development have made such tremendous strides so quickly, what did they do? They did cloud and they did SaaS. And we looked at something that basically hasn't changed since the 1970s, which is pen testing. So historically, if you needed pen testing done, you had two options. Option number one, you could try and hire an FTE team. Super hard to do. These folks are skilled and in very high demand, hard to find, hard to hire, hard to retain. Your option two was to go to a consulting firm and say, I need a pen test project. And they said, great. We'll bill you a premium hourly rate and we'll get started in 6 weeks when we've got folks on the bench who are available to do your project. So we said, what if we took pen testing and we made it SaaS? And voila, we have the birth of PTAS. So why does a person need a pen test? Usually it's because of a handful of reasons. Reason one, you've got a customer who insists on seeing a pen test report before they commit to buying your product. Reason number two, you've got a regulator who insists on seeing a pen test size. Number three, you're getting acquired, and the company that's buying yours wants to see a pen test before they complete the transaction and add your risk profile to theirs. Number four, you've just deployed a new feature or an entirely new product, and you want to find and fix security vulnerabilities before they can be exploited by malicious actors. This is a picture of a house. Sometimes you need to clean your house and you want to clean the whole house. It's kind of like doing a comprehensive pen test. Other times you just want to spot clean. You just need to clean the kitchen. You just need to clean the bathroom. This is how we think about agile pen testing.